So we have Tom and myself here in council chambers, and then LaTanya, we're just waiting for a couple more people to join us here. We need one more to meet quorum. Hey, Brenton. All right, we're sitting at 3:31 right now. We do have a quorum present. Just for a roll call here, we have Chair Blake Opal-Husky, we have Alderperson Tom Keelian in the council chambers here. And then via webcam, we have LaTanya Campbell, Brenton Wildman, and then we just had another number join us, last two digits of 05. Can you identify yourself? Okay, we just had a number join us, last two digits of 05. Can you kindly identify yourself?
Maybe they're just a person attending and listening.
Okay.
If we can make people identify
That's true.
themselves.
All right, and then we also do have Mayor Rosenberg on the call. Fantastic. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order for the Liberation and Freedom Committee on February 1st, 2001. It is now 3:32 p.m. First order of business here is approval of our minutes from January 11th, 2001. I did have one recommendation of updating on the minutes to our members' full names on there instead of just our last names. Is there any other edits to our minutes? Seeing none, I can go ahead and take a motion to approve those minutes with the correction of adding full names onto the meeting minutes. Okay, so there was a motion?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair.
Motion by Keelian. Is there a second? Brenton or LaTanya? My mic's on, right? Brenton, LaTanya, can you hear us all right?
Perhaps not.
Can you hear us? There we go. Okay. Perfect. So we just had approval of the minutes with the correction to add the full names to the member list at the top of the minutes. We had a motion from Keelian, and can we get a second?
Second.
Second from
Campbell.
LaTanya Campbell. Fantastic. Moving on to our second agenda item here is an update on conversion therapy ban policy. So an update on this, as the chair, I did provide a background memo to Public Health and Safety, and that will be discussed at the next Public Health and Safety meeting. So if you are available, we do encourage you to join. I'm not too sure, Mayor, if you have any other updates in regards to that policy being presented to Public Health and Safety? No? Okay.
Blake, when is the date and time of that meeting?
Let's look that up here real quick.
February 15th at 5:15.
Thank you, Kathy. February 15th at 5:15.
Oh, I got it.
Perfect. Wonderful. So that is the update currently on the conversion therapy ban policy. That would be taken up at the next scheduled Public Health and Safety meeting. If approved, that would then go on to Common Council for approval, for discussion and approval. Is there any other discussion on item number 2? All right, moving on to item number 3. Discussion and possible action on incorporating environmental justice goals into city strategic plan. So I should have mentioned this at the beginning of the meeting. We did have to last minute update a couple of wordings on here just to be in compliance with open meeting laws. So that is why we did have some last minute wording changes there. But I will open that up for discussion and possible action in regards to the environmental justice policy. Killian?
Thank you, Blake. I just wanted to ask a question, given kind of the wording and theme of the agenda item. Are we going to be diverging from the notion of a resolution in terms of environmental justice? Is this a different path than kind of we had discussed before, or is it kind of wrapped together?
So that's a great question. So the word changing, with the strategic planning in there, I think that's something that we would like to incorporate into the strategic planning, but by no means do I want to divert from the resolution that you proposed to this group. I also do want to provide an update too that we did reach out to the Environmental Sustainability Committee, to their recently elected chair. He is interested in hosting a joint meeting between our two groups. I believe the proposed date he threw out there would be on February 24th at 5 p.m. And as we're talking about it, would that date and time work for us to meet and have a quorum present? That is Wednesday, February 24th at 5 p.m.
I am unavailable that day.
Latonia's unavailable, okay. And Tom?
And that's helpful, that input from Latanya. I can make that day, and Ms. Groeschel and I had been in that meeting for the Sustainability Committee, and I guess I would, if there's not availability that day, could we potentially think, if we have to select an alternative date, that it might be a little sooner than later? I just know that I think since then I've heard of there may be a committee of the whole involving an environmental issue in an environmental justice area, which would be the 23rd. And so I think if it were to be prior to that meeting rather than after, it may serve a utility.
That's a great point. So, I will entertain for us to set a new date and time that works for all of us, so that way we fit in with the timeline of that retreat. Do you have a suggested date, Tom?
I could be really flexible any day that I do not have already scheduled city meetings, so I'd kind of just be eager to hear what works for the rest of the committee, and perhaps even the Sustainability Committee ultimately too. Thank you.
Of course. Just looking at this group here, though, what's that date that we're aiming? We want to get it before?
Yeah, I mean, my thought was if it can't be the 24th and we have to have an alternative date, it might be helpful to have it before the 23rd. I think that's the committee of the whole date.
Got you. Okay. All right, so I think we can go ahead and determine that follow-up date, that kind of Plan B, if you will, or Plan A, rather. Looking at days and times here, or Kathy, would you be willing to do a poll for our members?
Yeah, I'd be happy to do a poll for us and then for the other group too, and just see
Perfect.
what would work best and throw some dates at you. I'll do
Appreciate
that.
it. Wonderful. So Kathy will be in touch with everyone in regards to getting that scheduled here before the 23rd of February. Is there any other discussion or updates in regards to the environmental justice policy that we've been discussing? Okay. All right, and then moving on here, we have a discussion on future presentation to City Council on our committee's mission. This is just kind of best practice to update all of our common council members on what we are currently working on, what we have planned to work on, just an overall presentation on what our committee is doing. Just want to kind of discuss that with the group of if there's anyone who is interested in taking the point lead on that presentation. and what we would all like to be, if there's any input on what would like to be included as well. All right, we just got a message that there's some feedback noise.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything you just said. It's a lot of feedback, background noise.
All right, we'll try to get to that root of it here.
Is
Yes.
it coming from the phone?
I think so.
Do you know who that is? I can rename it.
We don't know who that is, unfortunately.
Okay. I hate to mute somebody, not let them participate.
Should we? Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. All right, we do have a member of the public here. Is there a public comment that you?
I really apologize. I kind of thought maybe there was going to be some point in this where you take at least some look at it. So the environmental justice.
Maybe the mic,
Yep.
Mr. Chair.
Can we get you up to the mic here, Chris?
So, is there an actual layout of this environmental justice? Hi, everybody. I apologize. My name is Christopher Norfleet. I guess I thought there was going to be a little bit at some point where you talk about what's going in it, even as per for whatever kind of example of a layout. I find this to be like a good time because we are here, you know, during the first day of Black History Month, right? And environment and equity is a huge, huge part of Black history and the inequities that we are still facing today. And so I'm just curious to what is in here that's going to allow you guys to have the power, if you don't feel empowered, which you should, but if you don't feel empowered, what are we talking about putting in this environmental justice and equity package that actually speaks to this specific environment? I say it a lot because, you know, I don't want to offend people, but I do want it to be clear that, you know, the Black community has a specific set of environmental inequities. And it's not to, you know, ignore the inequities of any other community, but as I think I've heard over and over again in the last years, it doesn't mean you don't love somebody because you pay attention to what's been neglected with Black people for so long. So I guess for me, this would be a good jumping off point to actually put that love into some powerful, meaningful action to where we can show the city that we're moving away from just being sentimental and virtue signaling and rah, 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 we're good. But we got to get beyond that because, you know, at some point in time, this community has got to widen out beyond the 3 or 4 Black people everybody seems to know, and make sure that all Black kids are comfortable and all Black people have a right and an equitable place in Wausau and in Marathon County. So I guess for me, I just want to make sure that we do have some perspective, something specific, you know, because it's important. Our children need to know that we specifically care about them as well. And it's important that they have that representation. And it's even more important that they see that white people can represent them appropriately, especially if you become conscious and educated about how to represent them. So yeah, I guess that's my point. Maybe it was too long.
No, never. No, that's some great, great points there, Chris. So we have included that and discussed it at a couple of our meetings in the past year. I know that was a draft, and I know that's something that we've been waiting to host a joint committee meeting with the Environmental Sustainability Committee. And since those two things kind of coincide and overlap, but I'm not too sure if if you'd like to expand upon what's included in that policy.
Thank you, Blake. Yes, so first of all, I'll give a little background on the type of resolution it was inspired by, and it was inspired by Evanston, Illinois' pretty recent environmental justice resolution that the city council had passed there. And I think importantly, they said it from the get-go that it was intended to be a source for policies and ordinances moving forward. So as you say, there can be some action along with the words. And so in this draft resolution, which I think will be in the packet likely with the joint meeting, it's going to do several things, and I can name a few that's included, and certainly public input and additions and edits I think are most welcome, because it's meant to be kind of a breathing document for the public to be involved in and to ultimately protect the public. And in terms of the words behind the action in the resolution, it does start off by recognizing what diverse working class neighborhoods, low wealth areas and those areas with more people of color in town, it recognizes that they have faced a disproportionate amount of environmental injustice in terms of environmental and economic hazards, a disparate amount, and also probably not an equitable amount in the public participation process. So that recognition is at the beginning of this resolution that we've been drafting. But in terms of action then, one concrete thing it would do, for example, that's quite flexible, whether it would be environmental contamination or economic development processes, is it calls for formal public engagement policies from the city that would hopefully create requirements and expectations so that there's more equity in participation, and also calls that policies and ordinances that could be applied to things even like zoning, for example, would support equal protections. And just one last example of something that I think even the resolution itself may incite without a corresponding policy or ordinance is it calls for taking data from various census or federal agency sources and creating a GIS overlay so that the city and county can actually easily identify on a mapping system where we have environmental justice populations. And so those are a few examples, but I think in the joint meeting, please come and give your ideas and other citizens, because it's kind of meant to be a living, breathing document right now. Thank you.
And the date for that joint meeting will be put out to the public too, and we encourage public participation in that process. And I just want to kind of add on to Tom there. It kind of incorporates with why strategic planning was on this line item here. Is, I think there's going to be a great opportunity for all these. It's an overarching policy, this resolution, and I think that with the city's strategic planning, there's going to be a lot of opportunities for us to intertwine this, not just in the work that we're doing on this committee or sustainability committee, but the entire city system. Yeah. Any other discussion on, I know we kind of jumped back there, but any other further discussion or possible action for environmental justice policy? All right. Getting back to the future presentation to City Council, as the chair, I'm more than happy to take the lead in that position, putting together a presentation. I would like to send that back to our committee for review, if that is all right with everyone, for review and edits, and then kind of take it from there and let everyone know when that presentation will be scheduled at our next meeting, so that way we can have participation as well. Is there, I know I have this up here for discussion, is there anything in particular that we would like, just want to put this out there, anything in particular that we want incorporated into that presentation? Just like to ask on the front end.
I think that background information that Killen provided when he had emailed us on the environmental justice resolution, I think that background information should definitely be included in the presentation.
Fantastic. I was thinking that, and also we can incorporate the United Way's Life Report as well. Okay, we'll make note of those two documents to incorporate. Any further discussion on presentation to City Council? Hearing none, moving on to our final line item here is discussion of goals and areas of focus for 2021. I know that we just kind of briefly had a brainstorming session at our last meeting, but since that time, I just wanted to bring this up again. If there was anything in particular within the last 3 weeks since our last meeting, if there's anything that is on the forefront of everyone's mind, goals, objectives for us to take on this year. I know that we're letting our mission statement really direct that line of work, but if there's anything specific, I just wanted to open that up for discussion.
I know we were talking about partnering with other organizations doing similar work. I was thinking this would be a good time to partner with the county's Diversity Affairs Commission on getting the resolution for a community for all passed.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Now, I'm a beginner here. Tara, I'm looking at you. Do we need a motion?
So your item is only noted as a discussion, so
So no actions
no
incorporated.
action would be appropriate, but, you know, this is just a discussion, so you don't need a formal motion in order, you know, to kind of plan things, you know, for this. I think this is sort of a looser topic, you know.
Fantastic.
So
Thanks,
I
Tara.
think you're good.
Thank you. Just want to make sure we're doing things by the rules. Excellent. Does anyone have a relationship with someone on the county board currently?
I'm on the Diversity
Yes.
Affairs Commission.
I kind of knew that when I was looking at you. Wonderful. Yeah, so if we could arrange that, that would be fantastic, LaTanya. I think collaboration on that would be fantastic. And Mayor Katie?
Yes, I'm willing to help Latanya if you need anything to push that or whatever. I know you got it. I know they've gotten some pushback on the county side, so I'm willing to kind of champion this for the city, and I feel like this is a good move to support our community and maybe add a little extra push behind what they're doing.
Okay. So what I can do is send out the resolution as it is current to Blake, and then you send it out to the full group?
Correct,
We
yeah.
don't have an exact meeting yet when we're going to be presenting to the ECC, but I can keep you informed. Is that how we're supposed to do it? I send
Yeah.
it to you and then you send it, okay.
Yep, that totally works. And I can send that on to Kathy, and we can give that out to the group here. And then we'll also incorporate that as a line item for our next agenda as well.
Okay.
Perfect.
Katie, maybe if we can talk and see how we can work together on that? You want me to send Kathy an email to see what your schedule looks like?
Yes, that would be great. I would love. I have a million things to talk to you about, so this will be great.
Fantastic. Thank you for that suggestion. Wonderful. So we will put that as a line item for our next meeting then, and hopefully we can get that going here. Anything else as far as discussion for goals and areas of focus for 2021? Tom?
Thank you, Blake. I think it was brought up by colleagues or other committee members last time, but I guess just less an area of focus than a goal would be kind of to further that advisory role for other committees and the Common Council, so that some of these things that we've been discussing and working on here can be conveyed to the committees and the council. I think this is definitely the right group policy-wise to do that. That would be one more suggestion or support of what had been brought up last time. Thank you.
It's a great suggestion. We'll definitely incorporate that. Fantastic. So for goals and objectives here, we do have that strengthening that advisory role, fleshing that out more, what that looks like, and then also lending a hand with the counties. And remind me, Latanya, what's the title of the?
The Marathon County Diversity Affairs Commission.
It's the Community for All.
What did you say?
The Community for All, is that the policy name?
Yes.
Yes, okay. And bringing that here on the city level too. Fantastic. Well, y'all,
It's also going
Yeah.
to be, the Wisconsin Institute, well, you might know this, as part of the, the policing task force, they're going to be having some community conversations, starting this month. Did everyone get the invite to kind of chime in?
I haven't received that yet.
I can forward it to you,
Okay.
Blake and Kathy. It literally just went out today, so
Oh, okay.
you're not too far behind.
It probably is in the emails then.
So
But
that would be good if everyone can just kind of chime in and share with your contacts. The more information, the better.
certainly, we'll extend the invite out to everyone here in this group as well. Thank you for that. All right, any other discussion or things that we'd like to chat about here? All right, hearing none. As always, this is a very timely meeting. We get this stuff done real easy, in a timely manner, I should say. We can go ahead and consider this meeting adjourned, I suppose, and we will see you all again here in 3 weeks, or actually, we'll see you before then to hopefully host our joint meeting between our group and sustainability and get some action for environmental justice policy.
Are you going to send a link out for that meeting?
Yeah, first, Kathy will be reaching out to us all to poll to see what date works best, so we can ensure that we have a quorum present.
For the one on the 15th, will we receive a link to join? Or did you want us there in
Yeah,
person?
yeah, we can send, yep, Kathy said that she'll send that out for us.
Okay.
Excellent. Well, we are adjourned, folks. Thank you so much for being present, participating. We appreciate you. And if there's anything that you'd like to see on the agenda for our next meeting, just either send a message to Kathy or myself directly, and we'll ensure that gets on there.
Happy Black History